So in continuation, let us discuss adrenal gland. Adrenal gland is also called as suprarenal gland. Now, where are the adrenal glands present? They are present at the upper pole of each kidney. Now, the objectives of this lecture, at the end of the lecture, the student should be able to describe the location, shape and relations of right and left adrenal glands, blood supply, lymphatic drainage, nerve supply of right and left suprarenal glands, parts of adrenal gland and function of each part. Development also we will discuss a little, and we will try to see what are the common anomalies associated with development. Now, where are these located? As I said you, they are located between the superomedial aspect of the kidney and diaphragm. This is the superomedial aspect of the kidney, and this dome-shaped muscle is diaphragm. Between these two structures, you are finding the location of suprarenal gland. So, the suprarenal gland is the component of hypothalamic pituitary suprarenal axis that is basically responsible for coordinating stress response and metabolism. That's what is flight and fight mechanism, which you usually study in physiology. So they are yellowish retroperitoneal organs, same like kidney. They lie behind the peritoneum on the upper pole of kidneys, just above the level of the last thoracic vertebra, that is T12. They are surrounded by renal fascia, but are separated from the kidneys by perirenal fat. The renal fascia we have discussed just now in the previous class, like it is splitting to enclose this, isn't it? Then each gland has an outer cortex and medulla, same like kidney. This is the cortex area and this is the medulla area. Now, the inner true capsule is derived from the condensation of the fibrous stroma of the gland. The outer false capsule is the two layers of the renal fascia which fuse at the upper end of the kidney and re-split to enclose the suprarenal gland in separate compartment. Now, at the upper end of the two layers united, we have seen in the previous lecture just now, like they are uniting and are reflected to the undersurface of the diaphragm in the form of suspensory ligament of suprarenal gland. Okay? Coming to the dimensions, the height is around 50 mm, that is nothing but 5 centimeters. Breadth is 30 mm, that is 3 centimeters. Thickness is 10 mm, that is 1 centimeter. Weight is around 5 grams. Medulla forms 1/10 of the weight of the gland. Coming to the shape, the right and left suprarenal glands have different shapes. The right gland is pyramidal and left gland is semilunar in shape. The right suprarenal gland, as I told you, so it is pyramidal shaped and it presents base, apex, it has anterior surface, behind would be the posterior surface. This border is lateral border and near to the midline is medial border. Now coming to the base is directed below and it is overlapping the upper end of the right kidney. Apex is directed above and is overlapped by the inferior vena cava. The anterior surface is presenting a hilum to which the right suprarenal vein is emerging out, as you can see here. Now, coming to the anterior surface of the right suprarenal gland, it is divided by into medial and lateral areas by a vertical ridge, which is actually called as anterior border. Okay, the medial area is non-peritoneal and related to the inferior vena cava. The lateral area is upper large and lower small part. The upper part is non-peritoneal related to the bare area of the liver, and the lower part is related to inferior layer of the right coronary ligament. The ligaments what we saw with liver in our previous lecture. You can see this is the anteriorly and medially, it is related to the inferior vena cava. Then the left, towards the right side, the upper half is related to the kidney and the lower half is related to the right coronary ligament. Now coming to the posterior surface, now this is our right suprarenal gland. Posterior surface is divided by a curved ridge into upper upper area is convex, comes in contact with diaphragm, which separates the gland from postdiaphragmatic recess of right pleura. Lower area is concave and it is related to right kidney. The distance between the two medial borders of the right and left suprarenal glands is 5 centimeters, and the structures which are intervening from right side to left side are right crus of the diaphragm, celiac ganglion, right inferior phrenic artery, azygous system of veins, cisterna chyli, abdominal aorta with celiac trunk, then left crus of diaphragm and left celiac ganglion. Now coming to the lateral border, this becomes the lateral border which is overlapped by the liver. Medial border is related to the right celiac ganglion and right phrenic artery. Then coming to the left suprarenal gland, the left suprarenal gland is longer at a higher level and near the vertebral column than right suprarenal gland. As you can look at this picture, it looks half moon or semilunar in shape with concavity directed laterally. Now the gland presents, this is the lower end, we have upper end, anterior surface, posterior surface, then we have the medial border and lateral border. Okay, then the lower end is rounded and it is close to the anterior surface and it is presenting the hilum through which the left suprarenal vein is passing downwards and medially. Now this is the lower end, this is the upper end which is narrow and this could be related to the spleen. Then the anterior surface presents the upper and lower areas. Upper area is covered with peritoneum and lesser sac behind the cardiac end of the stomach. Lower end non-peritoneal overlapped by the body of pancreas and splenic artery. Now coming to the posterior surface, it is divided by curved ridge into lateral and medial areas. Lateral area is related to left kidney. Medial area is related to left crus of diaphragm. Now coming to the lateral border, it is concave and it is overlapping the left kidney. The medial border is convex, okay, and it is related to the left celiac ganglion, the left inferior phrenic and gastric arteries. Coming to just general structure of this suprarenal gland, as we know, like it has the capsule which is covering it, and then the cut section shows outer cortex and inner medulla. The cortex has further 3 subdivisions. Okay. GFR is the code to remember easily, what you must be knowing. Zona glomerulosa, zona fasciculata, and zona reticularis, and in the, if you remember, medulla region is developed from neural crest cells, isn't it? Now we can see both the suprarenal glands very clearly now. We can also look at the blood supply. You can see we have, if you just look at this picture, we can know like suprarenal gland has 3 set of arteries on each side. This is right suprarenal gland, 1, 2, and we also have from here 3. That means we have superior suprarenal artery, middle suprarenal artery, and inferior suprarenal artery. Superior and like middle suprarenal arteries, we can see they are coming directly from the aorta. Okay, whereas the inferior suprarenal artery is coming as a branch of renal artery. Similarly, we can also have a look at venous drainage. The right suprarenal vein is directly draining into inferior vena cava, whereas left suprarenal or left adrenal vein is draining into left renal vein. Sometimes it may drain into the left inferior phrenic vein also. That's what is written here. So we have 3 set of blood vessels: superior suprarenal, middle suprarenal, inferior suprarenal, which are the branches. Superior suprarenal is a branch of inferior phrenic artery. Middle suprarenal is a branch of abdominal aorta. Inferior suprarenal artery is a branch of renal artery. Then venous drainage, right suprarenal vein is draining into inferior vena cava. Left suprarenal vein is draining into left renal vein or into the left phrenic vein. The suprarenal veins may form anastomosis with the inferior phrenic veins. So blood supply I have already told you. Coming to the lymphatic drainage, the lymph vessels are passing, like we have this abdominal aorta on either side, we call it as para-aortic, or right and left lumbar lateral aortic lymph nodes. Lymph is draining into these right and left lumbar lateral aortic group of lymph nodes. Coming to the nerve supply of suprarenal gland, medulla is supplied by the sympathetic. Nerve supply comes from celiac plexus. The root value has T8 to L1. Parasympathetic comes from vagus. The preganglionic sympathetic fibers are derived from the splanchnic nerves which supply the gland. Most of the nerves end in the medulla of the gland. Abdominopelvic, that is greater, lesser and least splanchnic nerves. Anyhow, there is a separate lecture for this splanchnic nerves and abdominal autonomic nervous system. There you will understand much better. So coming to this small review, what we have already discussed when you were with us, that is the suprarenal gland histology. This is the cortex area, this is the medulla area. The cortex area, outermost covering is the capsule. Then we have GFR is the code to remember easily. We have zona glomerulosa, zona fasciculata, zona reticularis. Below this we have medulla. Isn't it? The zona glomerulosa is a densely packed 5 to 6 layer zone secreting aldosterone. Is not so much appreciably controlled by the adrenocorticotrophic hormone coming from anterior pituitary. Second layer is zona fasciculata, where we have rows of cords of cholesterol-rich cells secreting cortisol. This zone makes bulk of adrenal cortex. Cortisol is nothing but the glucocorticoids. Then we have network type of cells arrangement, that is zona reticularis, like they secrete weak androgens. That means from zona glomerulosa we have aldosterone, zona fasciculata we have cortisols, from zona reticularis we have androgens. From medulla region of the adrenal gland we have epinephrine and norepinephrine, also called as adrenaline and noradrenaline. Okay. So this is a close-up view of histological picture. Okay. Adrenal histology, which has already been done for you. Now coming to the functions, the cortex of suprarenal glands secrete what are the hormones? Mineralocorticoids, which is very important for the maintenance of fluid and electrolyte balance, that is aldosterone. Glucocorticoids are concerned with the control of metabolism of carbohydrates, fats and proteins. Basically, they increase the blood glucose levels. Glucogenic, diabetes inducing hormone, if it is released in excess. Small amounts of sex hormones which probably play a role in the pre-pubertal development of sex organs. Medulla, it secretes catecholamines, that is epinephrine and norepinephrine, also called as adrenaline and noradrenaline. Okay. Development part will be discussed as a separate topic. Now coming to certain disorders related to the adrenal gland. Suppose if the glucocorticoids are released in excess, that is cortisol excess secretion, will lead to, I told you, it is a, a hormone which is increasing the blood glucose levels, isn't it? So that means it is inducing diabetes mellitus. It leads to hyperglycemia, hypertension, weakness, edema. Then that's the reason I told you it is a diabetogenic hormone. So it causes rapid muscle and bone loss due to protein catabolism, abnormal fat deposition, moon phase, buffalo hump, purple stripe. Okay, this is moon phase, this is buffalo hump. They're all purple stripe, high blood pressure, poor bone healing. You can compare the normal baby with the baby suffering with Cushing syndrome. The moon's face, buffalo hump is clearly seen. Okay, that is Cushing syndrome. Excessive adrenal hormones, like this is Cushing's disease, is where the pituitary tumor, which is releasing excessive ACTH, thereby adrenal gland is excessively triggered, because of which there is excessive release of cortisol. Okay. The causes of Cushing syndrome may be pituitary adenoma, adrenal tumors, ectopic production of ACTH, or physician-induced Cushing syndrome due to certain drugs, which is iatrogenic. You can see the buffalo hump. Okay, you can see the twin sisters. Okay, so one of whom is having the Cushing syndrome. Cushing syndrome, buffalo hump dysarthria. There is a condition which is called as adrenogenital syndrome, which is due to the hypersecretion again because of the excessive secretion of androgens. It basically accompanies Cushing syndrome, where you will see enlargement of external genitalia, especially in children before puberty. Newborn girls may exhibit masculinized genitalia. Masculinizing effects in women like increased body hair, deeper voice and beard, growth and all. It's a disability illness. So Addison's disease, like primary adrenal insufficiency, okay, that is hypoadrenalism. Mainly, these affects in hands, fingers, and gums. Addison's disease will be caused by anything that disrupts the production of adrenal hormone. For example, TB of adrenal gland. Okay, it looks like this. So decreased glucose levels, drop in blood pressure, from water and salt imbalance, darkening of skin. There is a condition that is Pound syndrome, adrenal hyperplasia with excessive secretion of glucocorticoids. Patient will suffer with high blood pressure and low potassium levels in the blood. That is hypertension and hypokalemia. Okay, developmental anomalies, sometimes adrenal gland may not develop properly, adrenal hyperplasia. Adrenal tissue may be present somewhere outside, not on the upper pole of kidney, but somewhere else, called as ectopic adrenal, anywhere in the pelvis or in the behind the peritoneum. Myelolipoma is a condition where you are finding tumor. Okay. So in case of adrenal hyperplasia, baby usually suffers with like anencephaly, where the cranial vault is not formed properly. So cytomegaly is large polyhedral cells you will find in the adrenal cortex. So generally seen adrenal tumors. Okay. You can compare, this is a normal adrenal gland. It is atrophied, less in size, this is atrophy. And if it is more in, if it has become big in size, you call it as hypertrophy. Okay? So hyperplasia is and hypertrophy. That is nothing but excessive proliferation of cells is hyperplasia. If size of the cell is increasing, you call it as hypertrophy. You see this thing in case of either pituitary adenoma or the Cushing syndrome. Pheochromocytoma is a condition where in the adrenal medulla there is a tumor, a neuroendocrine tumor of adrenal medulla. Okay. Obviously, there will be excessive secretion of catecholamines, epinephrine and norepinephrine. We are finding this adrenal mass which has increased in size. Thank you.